So the next area I want to look into or discuss is the device management area. So this is devices that you manage from a corporate point of view. So your laptops, desktops, corporate owned devices, but also how you manage access on personal devices, on personal mobile phones and tablets, for example, as well. So this is covered by Microsoft Intune, which is again part of the EMS suite, which is part of M365. And it's a comprehensive device management solution. So it can manage iOS and Android devices, and it can also manage Windows 10 devices as well. There is some limited Mac management as well, but it's obviously not as sophisticated as the Windows 10 management. And you can do a number of things here to manage devices, applications, to make sure they're compliant with your security requirements. But you can also use the policies to help keep your data safe. So if we talk about the mobile phones quickly, there's sort of two main approaches to managing mobiles. You've either got mobile application management or MAM. So this is typically used for your personal devices or bring your own device, BYOD scenarios. So the device hasn't got to be enrolled into Intune, but if you then try to access corporate data, say via the Outlook, Word, Excel, OneDrive apps, you can configure policies to put a protective bubble around those applications, for example, and stop them from copying and pasting data outside that bubble or saving it outside of the OneDrive area, for example. It's quite relatively painless to set up, and you don't have to worry about any enrollment. Literally, the moment the user tries to access the data in those services, is that those policies will start to apply. The mobile device management, MDM, is the more traditional approach, typically used for corporate-owned devices. You enroll the whole device. You can provision all sorts of settings, certificates, profiles, put some device compliance on there, etc. And you can obviously own the device in that traditional way. So you may want to use a combination of these or both, depending on your internal policies in regards to mobile devices. So yeah, so just a bit more detail around that. So typically, you can enforce that users access, say, email via the Outlook app instead of the native mail application on iOS or Android. You can also publish the applications to devices as well if they're fully enrolled. But if you're using the managed apps, you can then restrict the features to sharing, downloads, etc. You can also enforce requirements of pins on unmanaged devices before accessing data, and you can also check for jailbreak, root detection, etc. in devices as well. Sorry, one thing I just wanted to add. So if you're on a personal device and you're logged into Word as your work ID, and then you switch to your Outlook.com address, your personal ID, you can do what you would like normally when you're logged in as your normal personal ID, but if you switch back to the work ID, the policies will still take effect and prevent you from copying and pasting data. You're saving it elsewhere. So again, just talk through some examples. So this is protect data on an unmanaged device. So the user adds his OneDrive for business account to his, say for instance, an iOS device. He's already got the app on there. When he logs in, Intune configures app protection policy. So copy and paste, save as controls. It flags that need a PIN requirement and the storage is to be encrypted. So the user is prompted to create a PIN. The user can edit the document and then save it into OneDrive Business. If they then try to save it some other location, it won't be allowed. But if it's to OneDrive, it will be allowed. Again, for personal devices, you can also do some checks in much a similar way around if the image is jailbroken or not. So you can check the device compliant before then letting the email account be added, and then you will access. I think two of the sort of the main scenarios that this protects against is sort of productivity benefits, but it's making sure people have security boundaries around the data, etc., to make sure you're not going to lose control. Again, to reinforce, with the mobile application management piece, you can deny access to jailbroken or rooted devices. So if someone's upgrading using unofficial processes, etc., or putting unsecured builds of iOS or Android onto their devices, you can block those from connecting. And you can also stop users from pasting data to unsecured apps or saving it elsewhere. So you definitely can't go into an Excel sheet, copy and paste data out to your Notes app on your iPhone, for example. And then the other one is what happens when an employee leaves a company or a device is lost, the data is still on the device. So you can completely wipe devices, but obviously that would delete employees' personal files and photos, etc., which is not normally going to go down too well. But you are able in the MAM environment to remotely delete company data from a device, i.e. wipe those managed apps effectively without impacting any personal files.